Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you are new. My name is Leanne, and here on this channel I love sharing budget-friendly DIYs with you. And today we are continuing in the fall mode. Let me know down in the comments, is it too early for fall DIYs? You don't have to decorate yet, but are you starting to kind of get in that mode in your thought process? Let me know, but that's definitely where I'm at. So let's get started with our first DIY. All right, so for this first one, I finally found one of these cute little cutting board signs from the Dollar Tree, and we're gonna make it over. We're gonna use the back side. I do think I wanna do a double-sided one. So if you don't want to, you can just cover the back side with some paper, like some craft paper. I'm peeling off some that was just kind of creeping over the edges. I ended up leaving it as is on the back because I'm gonna go back and probably redo it for Christmas, I'm thinking. But I didn't have time when I was doing these DIYs to come up with a creative thought for Christmas. So we're going to just use the back, and I'm going to paint this with some Waverly chalk paint in the color white. And I'm just going to give a pretty good coat, but leaving some of the edges a little bit rough. And then we're going to go in and sand it down. I'm just going to sand down the edges and just smooth out the surface of it. And then I'm going to just take my ruler and make some lines with my pencil to kind of give the wood look. And then I just smudge those pencil lines with my finger. It's that easy, and you can see it just gets the lead on your hand, but that's all there is to it. And then I'm going to use this stencil that I picked up from Hobby Lobby. It's a really, really great price. It was $1.99. You got 2 stencils, plus their stuff is already 40% off, so it was just over $1. Also, if you want to see some things that I picked up that I'm going to be using, if you want to be looking for them, I did share a Dollar Tree haul, and there was some Hobby Lobby stuff in that. I will link that video for you, just if you want a heads up of some things that maybe you want to be on the lookout for. But anyways, we're just going to use this pumpkin stencil, and I'm just using a stencil brush with a little bit of paint. Try not to go too heavy so you don't have any bleed through. I did get a little bit of it, but not too bad. And then I just took some antique wax and did the stem. There was a little bit of bleed through on the bottom that I could have gone back and touched up, but honestly, it didn't bother me. And then I'm going to take these, one of these word sets from Dollar Tree. This came in a 6-pack. I know they've had in previous years, but this year was the first time I saw them. And I'm just taking a little paintbrush and painting them with some black acrylic paint. I just trying to be careful to not make a mess so that there's not like, gobs of paint hanging over the edge. So that's why I went in with a little paintbrush. And then once that was dry, we're just going to use a little bit of hot glue and hot glue that to the center of the pumpkin. And then I had forgot, or I thought I was recording, but it wasn't. We're just going to wrap the handle with some jute twine. I have this like tan and white combo from the Dollar Tree. And when I got to where the little hole opening was, I'm just kind of threading it through there and using a little bit of hot glue on the back. And when I redo the back side, I will either work around what's on the handle, or I'll just cut off the twine, do the back side, and then redo something on the handle. I wasn't too super worried about it. So yeah, we're just going to secure that down. And I wanted to put another decal on the front, but then I just kind of liked the way it looked. Oh yeah, using a lighter to burn off some fuzzy hairs on the twine. But I did still want one extra detail, so I got these cute little bows, raffia bows with like a button center from from Hobby Lobby, and I'm just going to hot glue one of those on towards the top. And that is it for this one. I will definitely be using this in my kitchen, and I thought it came out really cute and was easy to do. For this next DIY, I've got this wood pumpkin piece from Dollar Tree and some antique wax that I am just kind of watering it down. I'm just making sure that my paintbrush is damp, so I keep dipping it in water and dabbing some of the water off. When you use antique wax, you can use it straight up as is, but if you want to mess around with it a little bit, if you water it down, if you want to wipe it off like I am here, depending on how long you let it sit before you wipe it off, you can get different shades of that antique wax, and so that's just what I was doing here. But I'm going to stain this whole thing, and this little wood pumpkin piece, I actually picked this up last year. It was still in my stash, but they are out this year, and I've seen some extra or different shapes that I hadn't seen in the past, and I've actually seen them like all year round and not just for fall. So just a really fun piece, and I wasn't sure what I wanted to do with it, and I thought, you know what, not everything has to be super done up. So we're going to keep it pretty simple and just stain this whole thing inside, outside front, back, all of the spaces with this antique wax, just wiping it on, brushing it on and wiping it off. You can also use a baby wipe for this too. That works really handy, but didn't have them nearby on this day, so this is what I did. Also, I feel like the lighting keeps changing, but that's because I filmed these over 2 different days. Not because they took a long time to do, but that's just the time I had available. So the lighting is not the same throughout. And then we're going to take some more of that jute twine from the Dollar Tree, and I'm just wrapping that around the stem of the part that I'm going to be using as the front. And I even did it across the top by just running a little bit of hot glue across the very top of it. Sorry, that's out of frame, but you can see there. And then again, use my lighter to clean up the little fuzzies. And then I'm going to use this berry garland that I picked up from the Dollar Tree. They have it in different colors. They also have this stuff at Hobby Lobby. Wrapped it around at the end of a paintbrush. And the first one I did, it was just too long. So I cut it in half, and I'm just kind of finagling it. And I'm going to put a little bit of hot glue and kind of push that underneath the twine on the stem. And dropping in this candle, this battery operated votive candle from the Dollar Tree, and that is it for this one. Can't see exactly how much it's glowing because it was daytime when I filmed this, but very simple. It'll be a cute little filler piece on like a shelf, or like I have a lot of darker cubby areas that I decorate, so it's nice to have something glowing. For our last one, I'm going to go in with this chalkboard house sign from the Dollar Tree. They have them also with like the whiteboard. And I'm just using some scrapbook paper. I think it was from Hobby Lobby because that's usually where I get it, but it was just in my stash. And I just kind of pressed down around to get the general shape, and we're going to cut it out. You saw what I meant. I don't think I really described it well, but you could see I just pushed the paper down and kind of pushed along all the edges to get a crease. And then I'm just trimming it up till I have it so it fits. And then we're going to paint the frame. I am using plaster from Waverly. I'm going to paint the whole frame, the edges of it, and then I originally was putting a little bit of paint on the edges of the blackboard in case the paper didn't go all the way to the end, and then I was like, well, I don't know if you'll be able to see it through, so I might as well just paint the whole thing. So I did paint the whole black portion of this. I didn't do like a thick coat. You know, if you were going to be seeing that, I would have probably done 2 or 3 coats, but I just did it so that it was all the same. And then I have this wooden leaf cutout from the Dollar Tree, and I'm just using some lightweight spackling to fill in the hole. And we will, that's really easy to do, just let that dry and then sand it down if you need to. And we're going to use some antique wax. This time I'm just using a paper towel to wipe it on. Again, baby wipes work really well, but I did not have them in my crafting area, so I just grabbed a paper towel. And then while we let that dry, we're going to use a glue stick. I'm using a Gorilla glue stick, but a regular glue stick would probably be fine. We're going to attach our paper to the inside of the sign, and I'm just making sure I get it really, really good along the edges, and then of course the whole center as well. And we're just going to lay that in there, and then Plaid, which is the Mod Podge company, I don't know how you would word it, it's like the parent company of Mod Podge, but they had sent me some different things, and this little scraper tool was one of them, and it is really, really handy to smooth things out and push things into the corner. So I could have avoided the whole painting the back side of the black part from the beginning, because what I ended up doing for any little gaps was just, even though it wasn't super noticeable, I wanted to add this little detail of the twine, plus it would kind of cover up any spot where the paper wasn't all the way to the edge. So I'm just using a little bit of hot glue and some twine, and this little, it's a dotting tool, I think is what it's called. It's from Crafter's Square at Dollar Tree, but I love it because it's just good at like pushing in the little areas. And we're going to glue that all the way around, trim it up. I used the little lighter at the top because it had kind of frayed up at the very top. And then we're going to hot glue our leaf down in the center. This one is really a very simple DIY. I wanted to put another one of these bows. Thought about doing it at the top, but I really kind of just liked it in the center of the leaf, which is a little different, but I don't know. I liked it, so that's what I did. And then I'm going to go in with some antique wax on my stencil brush. Very light, dry brushing. I just kind of went over and over until I had the amount that I wanted on, because I didn't want to go too heavy at first. I just wanted to kind of build on it. And I love how this little piece came out. It's very cute, and I was happy with it. So I hope these DIYs gave you some fun inspiration for fall. And if you are new here, please consider subscribing, and don't forget to give this video a thumbs up before you leave. And that's it for now. Thanks so much for watching, guys, and I will see you next time.